into more details about grants DAO and a few interesting projects that have applied, and then go on from there. Stani, let's see. Just a second. All right, cool. I'll just start again, just in case. But to give an intro again, my name is Shreyas. I'm leading Aave Grants DAO. The goal of Aave Grants DAO is to build a wider network of contributors and developers that serve the Aave ecosystem. I'm also the founder of Llama, which helps DAOs and DeFi protocols manage their treasury. Really excited to get this going. This is the first call that Aave Grants DAO is hosting for Aave, and I think we're seeing a lot of cool things happening on Aave, and a lot of projects interested in building and growing the Aave ecosystem. We'll get into some of those details in a few minutes. Maybe to start off, I'll let Stani give an intro and some initial thoughts, and we can go from there.
Yeah, definitely. So hey everyone, and welcome to the first community call led by not the Aave Genesis team, but the Aave Grants DAO. And to give some background on what the Aave Grants DAO is and what is the kind of like a purpose here is that we as Aave Genesis team, we have built the Aave protocol, and will future contribute in building the protocol, and amongst other things that are important into the DeFi ecosystem and the whole kind of like a Web3 ecosystem, and to ensure kind of like that there is enough decentralization across the Aave ecosystem. The Aave Grants DAO was pretty much initiated to create a way to fund different kinds of projects that are building on top of the Aave ecosystem, but also help in contributing into the current protocol itself and the future work on optimizing the protocol and improving it. And beyond that, also handle various kind of communications, events, and anything that is related to empowering the whole Aave community. And I think the role of the Aave Grants DAO will be quite significant, also in the governance of Aave, and also ensuring that when there is changes need to be made to the protocol, whether proposed by any of the community members or the Grants DAO itself, that there is a sufficient amount of community members, developers that are able to help and with the payload of those proposals and get them into the on-chain governance voting. So in essence, I would say that I'm very excited what's been happening with the Grants DAO, and especially starting now from pretty much beginning. And I think in the future, it's a way for new developers who are either familiar or less familiar with Web3 to kickstart their projects, and also get involved in contributing to the Aave ecosystem, or even indirectly into the Aave protocol. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much like the introduction that we have at the moment. I want to leave the stage as much as possible to Shreyas and the Aave Grants team and the whole agenda that we have. Later, Emilio from the Aave Genesis team will update a bit on the progress that we have made in Aave. I mean, we are known as an ecosystem that we ship quite a lot innovation, and I hope that in the Grants DAO, this kind of like ethos of decentralization, inclusiveness, and innovation will be something that helps you navigate in future decision making or things that you all will be building and are excited about. So thank you so much.
Awesome, thanks, Stanley. Yeah, so just to give a little more detail on the Grants DAO, and then introduce a few projects that have applied that are exciting. So to summarize, we have a pilot program for 2 quarters, and we're allocated $1 million per quarter in Aave for giving out grants. And then we have an additional budget of $250,000 for operating expenses for the program and legal expenses. And so far, we've gotten about 25 applications and a lot of interesting projects that span sort of people like building integrations and other tools for Aave, as well as we have some interesting things in the pipeline, like the risk DAO, which basically serve as committees that will perform important functions that were previously performed by the core team. And like Stanley said, like the goal is really to empower community-driven initiatives and efforts. So we have a Telegram group that people can join and propose ideas. I'm always reachable if at Hello Shreyas, if someone wants to just bounce an idea off me. You can go to aavegrants.org to see some of the RFPs that we have listed, as well as apply there. And you can basically honestly propose interesting things that fall outside the scope of the RFPs. We've listed out some of the high priority items, but we're very open to new ideas as well. Some of the top RFPs right now, for what it's worth, are a governance UI, something to improve, to make it much easier for someone to make proposals, vote on them, basically, do things without, participate in governance actively without being, needing to go through a bunch of technical hurdles. We also have Rista, which is a high priority thing that we'd want to fund that Money Supply will get into later. And a developers DAO to basically start off performing some of the, executing some of the governance proposals and a few other things, but then eventually taking quite a significant role to add to Aave protocol. So to start off, I'll give it to Alexis from L2P Finance. If you're here, you can.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, Alexis, if you can just share a little bit about your project and how it benefits Aave.
Yeah, 2 seconds. I'm just gonna share my screen. And you should be able to see it right now. So yeah, I'm super glad to be here. Thanks everyone. Today I want to present you L2P.finance, which is a protocol which aims at bringing zero collateralized loans to DeFi. So the main idea is to actually scale the credit delegation feature from Aave and to provide a new way to so first aggregating lending platforms, and on the other side, enabling audited DATs and protocol to access zero collateralized loans. So there is 2 sides to it. There is one, the credit delegation side, which will allow people to actually delegate funds to our protocol. Those people will actually be rewarded within an extra yield. And on the other side, there will be protocols and dApps which will be looking for a new stream of liquidity or fundings. So how it works? There is two kind of actors. There is the delegators, which are coming on our application. They go through our front-end application, delegate their funds, which goes to our to people's smart contracts, which is integrated with the Aave lending protocol. And on the other side, there is the dApps, which will be which once whitelisted are able to interact with our API, and which allows them to borrow and repay directly using the API, because we think that won't be integrating with the front-end application directly. So that's mainly how it works. And on the use case side, it will be used to corporate credit, which will actually be a new kind of fundings for protocols and dApps. So instead of looking for ICOs and stuff like that, they will be able to use credit just like in the traditional corporate credit market. We have the fast withdrawals, as you saw last week. There have been some crazy moments in the DeFi ecosystem, and some of the main protocols could not perform their fast withdrawals operation accordingly, because they need more and more liquidity as the gas price rose up. So we will provide them a solution with that, and hedging and speculation, because protocols will be able to hedge themselves with directly lending to borrowing from a protocol and selling immediately, or do some leverage yield speculation. On the lending side, it's pretty easy to understand. People will actually delegate their funds to our app, and they will earn an extra yield. So how actually L2P can benefit Aave? It's by market efficiency first. When I did the math a month ago, there was about 35% of the whole collaterals on Aave which were unused. And that was about, at the time, $6 billion worth of TVL. And tomorrow, I mean, that's something that we can tap in already and make more use of that. It also provided a framework to scale the credit delegation feature, because as of today, once you have delegated your funds to the people and peers you know, it becomes very, very risky to delegate your funds. And last, it will make Aave able to attract more lenders, because by allowing people to delegate their funds on our app, it will incentivize the other lenders, which are on Compound, Maker, or whatever, to actually move to Aave in order to catch the extra yield. And yeah, since Aave will actually have the cheapest, will always be, like I said, will be a lending aggregator, and Aave will always be the cheapest since the feature is native. So yeah, that's about it. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks. This is awesome, and really really excited to collaborate on this. I'll just there might be a question on this, but I'll just move this on, because I think Emilio needs to leave a little early, and yeah, we have a bunch of other things in the agenda. So I'll give it to Emilio, and if people want to reach out to Alexis after this, feel free to message him. I think Emilio, and then after that we have Fred from Arbitrum as well, who might want to give an update.
Hey everyone, can you hear me, guys?
Yep.
Amazing. Hey everyone, nice to have so many people here in the call, and super excited for this first call, that is actually completely directed by the community. So some updates on the development of the core part of the protocol. There is an update coming which will include a lot of new features and a lot of new functionalities, specifically for risk management. So there will be a lot of changes specifically related to caps. So the protocol will have a proper borrow cap and supply cap, which is something that is very interesting, because the supply cap it will be probably the first lending protocol implementing the supply cap by itself. Then there will also be the exposure ceiling, which will limit the surface of attacks for infinite minting and also potential oracle attacks. Then there will be the capability for the protocol to accept and to involve multiple entities for risk management. So what we call in the code the risk admin. So essentially, there will be the possibility of configuring entities that will be capable of overriding some specific risk parameters without necessarily going through the long governance process, essentially. Then there will be reworking of the liquidation functionality to better handle like certain specific situations. Like we gathered a lot of information, a lot of experience during the last market crash, and I think a lot of improvements are possible in the liquidation function. So there will be a lot of improvements specifically targeted to improving the liquidation of smaller of loans that are smaller, that are higher risk of leaving dust debt, especially when there is high gas, like when the network is congested, so the gas is very high. There will be many gas optimization, which should save further reduce the gas consumption of all the action between 15 and 20%. There will be also integration of native integration of the permit functions. So now that Ledger supports the ability to sign EIP 712 messages, that the protocol will allow users to deposit by by sending a message and not executing approve transaction, which will help further saving gas. And also other features, like if anyone is interested, you guys can go to the Aave GitHub. Everything is public, so you can just go to the Aave GitHub and check all the issues that are open, and there are many pull requests in progress. So also there is currently in development, there is the ability to, there is a specific A token implementation with the ability to claim rewards from the Sushi MasterChef and from the Curve Gorge. So people will actually able to add currencies to the AMM market, LP shares to the AMM market coming from Sushi and from Curve as well. There are a lot of other stuff, like you can go look a little bit on the Aave GitHub, and there are a lot of different developments going on in parallel. And I really hope we got a lot of community contributions already, and I really hope we get more participation from the community. If you are a Solidity developer and you want to participate in the Aave development, on the core development of Aave, please don't hesitate to contact me or other developers in the Aave GitHub. Absolutely, I would be super happy if more people from the community wants to participate to the core development of the product. With that said, I think we have a guest of last minute. It is Fred from Arbitrum, which want to say a couple of words on the next, on their next very awaited mainnet release of the Arbitrum rollup. So I will actually hand over the discussion to him. So if he wants to say something about his next future release.
Sounds great. Thank you for that, Emilio. And I'd like to start off saying that those updates are really exciting. It's really cool to see all these new features coming along. And well, now let me go on to introduce myself. I'm Fred. I'm a software engineer at Off-Chain Labs building Arbitrum. And we've been on testnet. We're a layer 2 solution, an optimistic rollup. And we've been on testnet since, I'd say, I don't remember exactly, maybe October or November last year. And we're finally reaching our milestone of the mainnet deployment, which is actually set for tomorrow. And with that, it's great to be here talking to the Aave community. And we've been interacting for a bit of time with the Aave Genesis team about doing a deployment of the Aave protocols on the layer 2 solution, Arbitrum. And I personally think that's really exciting and really cool, going together with what Sunny was saying earlier about innovation being in the core of the Aave ecosystem. I think this just goes to show that the community is always on the fringe of it. And us at Arbitrum, Off-Chain Labs, are really looking forward for this going forward and how it plays out. And thank you for having me here.
Thanks, Fred. Really exciting, and look forward to the launch tomorrow.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll just take a little pause from the meeting, and we have a cool surprise for everyone who's attended. Anyone who's here so far can actually claim an NFT for attending the community call. So we'll have so this is through proof of attendance protocol. Thanks for setting this up. You can basically claim this either by going to the link or using the QR code. And I think you'd have to connect your MetaMask account, and then you should be able to claim this NFT. And who knows, we'll do cool stuff with this, with holders of this NFT later. But that's still TBD. All right, we'll now move on to let's see, the Aave liquidation notifier. Stephen, are you here? Perfect. Hey, Stephen, if you could just give an overview of what you're planning to build, and if there's anything that you might want feedback with that people can later reach out to you. Stephen, are you connected? Let's see. All right, why don't we go to Monet Supply on the wrist DAO, and then we can come back to Stephen later.
All right, is everyone able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I'll try and keep this short, but just to give like a gist of the risk DAO. For context, Aave's seen some pretty exceptional growth over the past basically year or so since launch. And a lot of that, I think, is from serving a really wide variety of assets and moving relatively fast, being really agile. As the market grows, though, each change involves potential risk, and then maintaining existing markets in the protocol also kind of, it requires continuous risk management and analysis. And the governance forum is open for everyone to contribute in this, and it has a lot of rich discussion and insight. But the protocol is also very complex, and certain elements that can require time and specific skills to identify risks that could come up for the protocol. So the risk DAO is essentially, it's going to be a mechanism for proactive community-led risk management. So it'll bring together analysis from market risk areas, oracles, smart contracts, governance, and hopefully legal as well. So we'll be able to review risks of the existing protocol and recommend parameter changes, help with reviewing new asset applications to kind of keep that backlog moving, and make sure we can continue onboarding quality collaterals, and then also support community-led initiatives, and basically give the community the kind of depth of analysis they need to make sound decisions that are going to be safe for protocol users and for stakers.
Very cool. This is, of course, like a very useful and needed thing for Aave protocol. Is there anything you'd like to plug, or are you looking for certain types of people for the Risk DAO, or any other help from the community that you'd need?
Yeah, we're still still forming the team. So if you have some deep skills in any of those areas, if you are really involved with oracles or you're a smart contracts dev, definitely reach out to me on Twitter or in the Aave forum. You can just DM me. So yeah, we're still forming the team, and anyone who feels that they have some skills that they'd like to contribute, I'd love to talk.
Awesome. Cool. So now handing it over to Aave from Flipside Crypto.
Great, thanks, Shreyas. Can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Cool. My name's Aave. If it's easier, you can just pronounce it Aave. Very close. I see a few familiar faces here. Isa, Alex, Pablo. Nice to see you guys here. So I'm from Flipside. I run our partnerships and our innovation lab internally. Flipside's been around in the space since 2016. We've been providing data intelligence and analytics to a ton of awesome teams: USTC, Flow, Terra, Near. What we've been working with Shreyas on is something really cool for Aave and a few other ecosystems. It's live in now. We're basically opening up our data layer and dashboarding solutions and API to communities, and we're focusing on fostering and building out community engagement through our processes, through a process called community-enabled analytics. Basically, imagine we're fully opening up the data layer and supporting analytics and analysis production through a bounty program. We handle end-to-end. So we work directly with project teams, sourcing questions from the community and our own data experts to surface the most pertinent analytics and data questions that are live now, answer them, get them answered through community engagement as fast as possible. And then we can surface them through our own dashboarding solutions or via API. The coolest part about it is any grant funds. So we're live now with Compound and Uniswap. Any grant funds go directly back to the actual analysts who are producing the analyses with our data. And that also yields additional benefits outside of just community engagement. We've been finding that the analysts who are receiving the grants or that we're activating them to use the actual protocols themselves, driving additional liquidity to the protocol. So really creating this holistic kind of ecosystem with the analytics, and that's we call native token recycling. So as those tokens go back to the community, we're seeing them make it back into the protocol itself. So pretty exciting. I just have a couple things I'll show you that are live now. So right here, you can see our fancy Notion doc that we've dressed up. We have 2 communities now live right now, Compound and Uniswap. Shortly, we will have all of the submissions. We've actually received over 140 submissions so far in 6 weeks of different types of analyses that have been performed. We're going live with a website within a couple days that will showcase all of those awesome things that are being created. To give you a little flavor of the product itself, you can see we have a full SQL editor that drives into visualizations that can be created. You can add them to a dashboard. You can distribute this via API to populate your own dashboarding solutions. Some examples, you can see here one that was created for Compound, diving deep into essential protocol elements. We've done a ton of work on Uniswap v3, obviously a hot topic. You can see some of the cool things that have been performed here as well. And then another flavor, this is we've also launched bounties with Alchemix. So you can see this is actually an external dashboard that's just using the API from our solution to populate the data in there. So really, really excited to roll this out for Aave. The results we've seen with Compound and Uniswap so far have been really exciting. Really just love the dynamic of how it brings that the holistic element of fostering community, engaging directly with project and protocol teams to surface the analytics they need, and then being able to kind of activate and incentivize through reward structures. So Very cool stuff. And yeah, we can't wait to get started here. If you guys are interested, I can drop this link in here. You can sign up and start playing around with the data. If you're a technical person here, I can drop that link in the chat and you can go hack away. Thanks, Shreyas.
Great, thanks, Avi. I think what's really interesting about what Flipside is doing is the native token recycling metric that I think is cool to optimize for, which is how much of these grants given to analysts actually results in growth of assets in the protocol, which which is cool, and if it works out is quite impactful. Definitely reach out to Avi if you have suggestions on and things relating to Flipside. I'll hand it over to State to give updates on governance.
Hey everyone, yeah, I just wanted to give like a quick recap of what happened since governance-wise since the last call, since a lot of proposals since then. So first there was AIP 13 and 14 from Consensus Codify, which added support for Renfield, which is like wrap Filecoin on Ethereum from Ren protocol. Then there was AIP 16 from Parify, which I'm sure everyone knows, like introduce incentives for like different assets and distributing like currently 2,200 stake Aave per day for USDC, DAI, USDT, GUSD, Wrap Bitcoin, Ethereum. And then then there was also from Julien Bouteloup from Curve. He went on a little mission to let Curve LPs claim their stake Aave when they for the Curve pools that use A tokens. And then there was the AIP 16, the Aave Grand Style from Shreyas that we all know about now. And also after that, AIP 18 and 20 were like the Aavenomics like party upgrade, which was just like continuing the stake Aave rewards to Aave stakers, because like every quarter it has to be reset and revoted on. And then lastly, the AIP 21, which was like deciding to set reserve factors for Curve and GUSD so that the protocol can start accruing fees for those assets. That's it.
Cool. Thanks, Dave. We now have Chainlink God to give an update on Chainlink's liquidity mining proposal.
Hey everybody, can everyone hear me?
Yep.
All right, awesome. So I'm Chainlink God. I'm a Chainlink community ambassador and a longtime user of Aave ever since it was ETHland a long time ago. So I recently created an Aave request for comment proposal on the Aave governance forum for extending the existing liquidity mining program that's been in action for a little while to link token deposits on the Aave V2 deployment on Ethereum. So as most people here probably know, the liquidity mining program has been extremely successful. It's not just increasing the TVL of the protocol, pretty much doubled it, but decentralizing control of the Aave protocol by distributing the native Aave governance token, which I think is a pretty significant move for just kind of overall decentralizing the protocol. So essentially my proposal is to extend the liquidity mining program to include link for rewards. Kind of what I proposed was similar to the ETH and wrapped Bitcoin with a 95-5 split between lenders and borrowers. So lenders get 95%, borrowers get 5%. And kind of what I proposed was that it could be kind of on the scale of wrapped Bitcoin ETH, so 200 staked Aave per day, but that's still kind of, that's up for discussion on the forum still, but that's kind of the general proposal. So there's kind of two different methods that I propose on there, either keeping the whole liquidity mining budget the same and then reallocating from existing token allocations, or increasing the budget to include Link. So had a vote on the governance forum, and it was pretty much overwhelmingly in favor for increasing the liquidity mining budget. So there was 53 votes from the community, and about 83% of those was for increasing the liquidity mining budget to include Link as rewards for the staked Aave distribution. And 13% said to keep it the same, and 3% said no. So it was pretty overwhelmingly in support. And from what I've seen in the Chainlink community, I've got a lot of questions about it. So there's definitely a lot of interests in that regard. I think that I kind of see a multitude of different key benefits for the Aave protocol and for the Aave community. So the primary one, it would be kind of incentivizing the migration of Link deposits from the V1 deployment to the V2 deployment. So there's still about $150 million of Link on the V1 version, and that should be incentivized to be moved over to the V2 for basically prevent liquidity fragmentation of Aave on the Ethereum mainnet, essentially. So that would be kind of a small benefit, but that would be a benefit for preventing this liquidity fragmentation and making yields more consistent for users. I think that kind of a primary one is that it would incentivize deposits of Link tokens, which is Chainlink's native token, onto Aave, which would not only increase the total value locked of the Aave protocol, but it would lead to an increase of borrowing of stablecoins, since that's the primary use case of depositing Link onto Aave, is to borrow stablecoins as working capital to earn yield somewhere or to purchase Link. So that would, by a result, kind of benefit both the Chainlink community in increased yield and increase the yield of stablecoin lenders, which would kind of end up resulting in a virtuous cycle where more people would deposit stablecoins in order to benefit from that increased yield. And as well, because more borrowing would occur, that would increase the revenue for the Aave DAO, for Aave stakers, as a result of the increased interest being paid and potentially liquidations happening. And I think that through this program, Aave would be able to stay more competitive against other DeFi protocols that support Link as collateral or as a yield option. So kind of what I've seen is people switching over to Bancor or Curve or Yearn in order to put their Link to work because they offer yield. I think that with liquidity mining rewards for Link, that would provide an opportunity for yield. It may not be entirely competitive, but doesn't like on a per percentage basis, but it doesn't need to, because there's a lot more utility on Aave where you can actually borrow against your Link tokens. And because you're getting liquidity mining rewards, it actually lowers the interest rate for borrowing. So Aave would be definitively the most competitive solution, because we've seen Link being added to Compound. So the loan to value is 0% right now, but as that gets increased, that's like another competitive dynamic for which this program would basically allow Aave to stay more competitive. I think the primary benefit from what I see is aligning the incentives between the Chainlink community and the Aave community. So by granting staked Aave rewards to Link holders, Link lenders, that essentially means the Aave DAO would continue to decentralize with members who are already extremely aligned with the vision of Aave, because Aave inherently across all of its markets use Chainlink price feeds to secure all of these different markets. So the Chainlink community and the Aave community has always kind of been close since day one, since the initial launch on V1 back a year ago. So that would kind of be not just higher yield, but basically be granting governance power to a community who has a lot of skin in the game in seeing Aave succeed in being the de facto money market for the DeFi ecosystem, because the success of Aave is the success of Chainlink, and the success of Chainlink is the success for Aave. It's a synergistic relationship between the Chainlink and the Aave community, and these liquidity mining rewards would basically be like an accelerant on that. It would further incentivize the Chainlink community to participate in the Aave governance process, essentially. So I've created that Aave request for comment on the Aave governance forum with my address chainlinkgod.eth. So I have about 10,000 to 80,000 delegation proposal power. And so once more people delegate to chainlinkgod.eth, then I can generate an Aave improvement proposal, which is essentially the on-chain vote, which would be deployed to actually deploy into the protocol and make this a reality, which would basically, as a summary, help decentralize Aave, increase the total value locked, increase revenue for Aave, increase yield for stablecoin lenders, and I think the most important is generating a stronger connection between the Chainlink community and the Aave community. So I just want to say thank you for everyone who's listening, and I want to say especially thank you for Mark for helping me on pushing this proposal forward.
Yeah. Hey, Chainlink God. This is Santiago from Verify. I really like, I think one of the first things that we heard when we submitted the proposal was why not including Link? And this is, I'm glad to see you propose it because we thought of it as a very early experiment to collect feedback. It's sort of a beta run. I think to your point, it's been a very successful initial program, but yeah, like for mine, very supportive of it, and we'll look to delegate power over to you. But thanks for submitting that.
That's good to hear. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Great, thank you. That was really comprehensive, and yeah, look forward to hopefully this becoming an AIP and moving forward with this. We now have Sandeep from Polygon with updates.
Hey guys, this is Sandeep from Polygon. So I just wanted to, congratulate the Aave community that the number of users on Polygon has surpassed the number of users that are available on that use Aave on Ethereum. I think on Polygon the total number of users is around 28,000. And on Ethereum main chain, it's 26,000. And a good thing that we recently heard from Nonsen, who do this analytics, is that around 74% of these users are actually first-time users. That means these addresses are new, and then many of them, like I think out of these new addresses, some X percentage, I don't remember exact percentage, but I think 29% actually went back and later on created their Ethereum accounts. So, overall, we are, adding more users to the Ethereum ecosystem, and, overall, it looks really great. And the TVL has also, I think, as of today, the TVL is around $7.2 billion on Polygon in Aave. So that also is really amazing, and borrowers' activity seems to be very heightened. Like I think there are 300 times 300% more borrowers on Polygon compared to Ethereum. And I think originally when we discussed with Aave team the goals, and then we always used to discuss that at the end of the day the business is coming from borrowers also, like who are actually paying back the interest into the protocol. So glad to see that we have more 300% more kind of borrower activity, actually 200% more borrower activity, 3x number of borrowers on Polygon, and liquidity providers are also like around 60% more than on main chain. So I think overall the growth looks really great, and we are as a community, Polygon community is very feels very close to Aave community, and we want to kind of partner with Aave community in whatever endeavors they are embarking on in the coming future. So yeah.
Thanks, Sandeep. Those stats are quite incredible. So congrats on that. Cool. Any questions for Sandeep? Okay. I'll give it to Alok from Standard Crypto, who has some thoughts on, I guess, Aave analyzing some of the growth levers, including liquidity mining, and possibly setting up a group to help do this.
All right. Hey, everyone. Thanks, Shreyas. Great community call so far. So we did the liquidity mining experiment recently, and I agree. I think it's been great. But this question of how great, why was it great? Right? Did it accomplish what we hoped it accomplished? There are a set of questions to me that I still think are unanswered, and it's worth understanding it. And so I don't know if this could eventually turn into something as formal as a grants DAO or a risk DAO. But I think it could start as really just answering the question of, hey, how'd it go? What did we learn? What could we change about the next time we do it? How do we kind of adapt those learnings into more refined experimentation? And so the initial idea was maybe it takes the form of a one-off grant, and maybe it takes the form of a postmortem on the liquidity mining campaign that we've done. Questions like, hey, what type of users did we acquire? How many? Did we set the time, the duration that the Aave that was received was staked to the right number? Should it have been longer? Should it have been shorter? So to me, like the postmortem and understanding, hey, like where did liquidity mining succeed? Where did it fall short of expectations? And how do we learn from it to adapt more to the next time rather than flying blind? That's to me a good first piece of work that can be done, probably kind of compact and well scoped enough to do as a grant. But then it got me thinking over time, right? Like any hyper growth startup, I think understanding levers on growth is really important. And being able to reason about things like the ROI of different channels we can use to grow with, right? Ultimately, right, what's the ROI of using tokens from the treasury to incentivize usage and users? These are the types of questions I would love over time to have really refined and concrete answers to, because I think that's how sustainable growth can happen. So my initial idea is to start it really small, scope it down. It looks basically like, hey, let's do a great postmortem on the liquidity mining campaign. But then over time, if we learn from it, if we think it's an effective way to guide our future decision making, then I think there's an opportunity to formalize it.
Yeah, I really like that. I'll probably just put this into an RFP on the Aave Grants website, and I'll get your feedback on how to scope this out, and then we could just see what the analysis looks like, and if the people in the team doing it can sort of offshoot into something like the risk DAO or not, and it takes another structure. But yeah, it's definitely doable and seems like a cool grant to give people interested in this analysis.
Yeah, and I've got some ideas about personally about what are things that are important. What should we be measuring? What should we be paying attention to? But again, like I hope it becomes there's a lot of community feedback, because I think the more we understand, hey, what are we trying to accomplish in our growth and with our choices for how we grow, I think we're all going to be much better for it.
Totally. Cool. Awesome. I think that was all in our agenda, but I'll leave it to questions that people have. Let's see. Feel free to ask in the chat or unmute yourself and ask it live. Or I was looking at the YouTube stream, and let's see. Yeah, I'll just give it like a couple of minutes to see if any questions pop up. Stani, any comments?
Nothing on my side. I think it was pretty good community call, and previously the Aave Genesis team has been running the community call, and now it's pretty much run completely by the grants DAO and the whole Aave community. But it was nice to kind of like as the member of the Genesis team to step back and see how this all evolves into more decentralized and community driven initiative. So I'm pretty excited to see and been waiting for this moment for quite a while. And I just want to thank Shreyas and everyone here who's been participating, and I will try to be active and in the community as much as I can. And yeah, and there's the Telegram group if people want to discuss more. And yeah, it's been pretty much fun.
Great. Awesome. And I think for the next community call, we want to involve definitely much more of the community in what we do. And so we'll sort of crowdsource the agenda and what people want to talk about, probably on the governance forum, plus like the Telegram and Discord groups. And yeah, at any point, feel free to reach out. Aave grants at gmail.com is our email. You can reach out to me directly, or any of the other community members are quite accessible and quite public. So, you know, always feel free to reach out if there are any suggestions on how we can improve the structuring of the grant style and you know, reward and involve more contributors as much as possible. So, great. Cool. If that's it, thanks everyone for joining. I think this was a really great call, and excited to have the Aave grant style lead this. And I think definitely my experience so far and the other community members is that, you know, Aave is such a great bottoms up community that it's really a privilege to be involved in this. So so thanks everyone, and yeah, again, I'm always open to feedback, and so are all the other committee members. So feel free to reach out.